let's play a game. All right. On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
This is the Karate in the Garage podcast with Mason, Merrill, and Weston.
Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I am your host, Mason Merrill, and with me as always is my co-host, Weston Toth. And guess what, guys? We did this thing 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, man, we did it. We did it.
Yeah, we've been skipping some weeks on and off, kind of every other week. But this week, September is a good month because there's a podcast every week so far.
Hey, man. Labor Day came here, passed. Everyone, all the kids are back in school.
Yeah.
You're
except
settled.
for my kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, they can't read. Okay, so calm down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yet.
Don't worry, it's coming.
No. Hey, man, it's all good. We got 2 weeks in a row. I don't see any reason that we should stop.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely excited. We got another game already locked and loaded for next week, but this week, as we teased on our social media outlets, if you saw, we decided to go with Jet Force Gemini for Nintendo 64.
Yes. Hey, by the way, what is, like, I know that I was picking up these Gemini gems for health, but what is Gemini? What does that mean? Do you know?
I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it never was really explained either. It was just like,
No.
That's your health, you know?
I was really hoping we were going to talk and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it is. What is it?
Yeah, no, this is probably one of the highest rated Nintendo 64 games ever. And I have a lot to talk about because it didn't hold up for me, just to be straight out of the gate. But anyway,
okay.
so Jet Force Gemini is a third-person shooter video game. It was as many N64 games that were pretty good, published by Rare, which is now a Microsoft property, so nothing else was ever done with it. But anyway, it kind of, for me, it was like a mix between like Banjo-Kazooie and Star Wars.
Yeah, I was about to say, to me, it had a lot of, same thing, had a lot of crossover to like Battlefront.
Yeah, like kind of like that Star Wars game we played on N64, back last year.
Kind of, yeah, true.
Yeah, but more like more adventure to it, kind of feeling like a Banjo-Kazooie type adventure, which, it was N64, made by the same developer, so it's not shocking that it reminded me of that.
Yeah, very, very, very true. Yeah, some adventure style, maybe more like a Spyro into the Dragon, and like because the way that, I mean, Banjo was a little bit more open world. This was a lot of like corridors and smaller rooms, like Spyro. If you've ever played any of those games, like they're kind of like leading you down this little rat prison, like a
it was like
where like
one point to the other kind of game. Banjo was more open world. You could go here, you could go there, you could go back to Freezy World pretty easily, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Seems like that. Yeah, no, definitely. That's kind of like, but as far as the gameplay go, it kind of reminded me of that. But basically, so the plot was Jet Force Gemini revolves around Jet Force Gemini team attempting to defeat the dark insectoid tyrant Mizar and his horde of drones, which were like ant people.
They were ants. They were literally just ants.
Yeah. And dude, I remember playing this game as like a kid, and like coming back to it, I was like, man, like for that time and that time frame, I'm like, this game is a little gory.
Yeah, so in the opening scenes, Jet Force Gemini, like the dude that you play, whatever, I don't even know his name, but does he have a name?
Yes, it's Juno and his sister Vela, and their dog Lupus.
Yeah. So Juno, sorry, I knew that because it comes up a couple times.
Yeah.
Juno, like literally, he's like blasting the bugs, and there's like bug guts going everywhere. And then in another scene, just really soon, the alien ants, they come down and crush the guys you're trying to protect, and they're literally like blood splatters.
Yeah,
I, like,
I know.
What?
I had to watch that scene like rewind. I was like, wait, did that just happen? Did he just splatter the dude? Like the ship landed on him? Yeah, that happened. But this game, I went back and looked, and it was rated T for teen. So I mean, it wasn't like an E for everyone game, type of thing. But
yeah, but remember, like all those ratings, everyone T and mature have gotten drastically different.
Yeah.
I mean, for 99, like Blood was pretty much always going to be
Teen.
mature.
Yeah, or mature.
I mean, like, or almost mature. Like it's that was one of the first things, like when it, because I guess it was maybe comic violence. That's why it was teen. But if it was realistic at all, it was going to be mature. And this time, at least
like,
what I remember.
Like I remember playing like Duke Nukem for Nintendo 64, and that was mature, and there was a lot of like blood in that. So like real blood. Yeah.
Very true.
Yep. So anyway, the game begins. 3 characters are in orbit around the planet Goldwood. They barely escape the destruction of the entire Jet Force fleet at the hands of Mizar, which is basically this giant. It's funny because they're ant people, but Mizar himself is like a spider, which is funny. So
that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, they're like an insectoid. He's like an insectoid with his. He calls them drones, but they're not robots, so it kind of like wigs me out. But more like just like stormtroopers, his like version of the stormtroopers. It kind of had like Star Wars vibes and how the ship came over and overtook the fleet, and then
it really did actually.
Yeah,
thinking about it now, like because he had a small ship and then like the big insectoid ship like came up and it was like the Death Cruiser when the Imperials come.
Yeah, exactly.
Over like the Rebels. Like they always have the most massive ship comparisons wise. You're like, oh, okay.
Yes, for sure. So, but you definitely felt that vibe of kind of like the Empire versus like I guess the Jet Force Gemini were the rebels in this case. But anyway, Juno, Vela, and Lupus are attacked by several drones, and then they decide to abandon their ships and go off on their own separated missions. And then you kind of just follow the game through different levels and layers and bosses and things like that to finally all culminate to this big battle with Mizar. So that's basically the plot of the game.
Yes. What did you find that you did not like about this game, and like what did you like? Just like quick run off. Okay. Oh yeah, like let's talk about gameplay real quick. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for first off, it was kind of the camera angles were really bad in a lot of areas, so that really wigged me out. And that like, I think I remember playing this game less story, more versus mode, and that's where we really had a lot of fun with it because it was more open arenas rather than like really tight rooms and things like that. You're trying to jump up and get things and do things and run around, and it just wasn't as fluid with the camera as I would have liked it to be.
Very, very true. Because I kept on like trying to press buttons to just like bring the camera behind me or at least like control it in any way, and it wouldn't. It just like wherever the camera was kind of going to follow you or like how you were going to turn, it was going to do its thing. Like you had no control over it.
Yeah, for sure. So the gameplay overall was okay. Like back in that time, I guess it was very prevalent. It was like that in that Star Wars game, but like it would auto aim for you as long as you were kind of in the area. It would just shoot at the guys. It would kind of auto aim, and then you could aim at like the snipers and things, the ants in the trees that were like shooting at you and things like that. It did have like a little aiming feature, but most of the time you're just running through, and if you just shoot and kind of point in their direction, it would get them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like Battlefront, where Battlefront had like an auto aim feature, and you could aim, especially like with your sniper or different like guns, like for people. But it did have like if you were kind of facing the right direction. But that's the thing where like the camera got really, because in Battlefront the camera is pretty much always right behind you, and you could turn, and the camera would turn perfectly with you, and you could rearrange it how you wanted to.
Yeah.
So it was pretty easy to like. It felt like Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation felt super, super clean because of the auto aim feature with third person is a good way to go.
Yeah.
Or like a kind of a help aim. But if the camera was so wonky, like sometimes I found myself just having to run, like do a circle, and then the camera would realign and I could fight the dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, as far as just like playing the game, you could really jump in and just kind of play it, but it was just kind of lackluster. And it just almost ruined it. Some of those camera angles in tight spaces, it's like, oh, this is more frustrating than it is like, this is awesome,
Yeah, no, for sure. How many of because there was a bunch of weapons too, which I did like how they kind of switched it up, and you had to use the different weapons to be able to open different doors and stuff like that. Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah. No, there was some different ones, and like there's like a more of like a rocket launcher type thing, and I thought the
Machine gun.
machine gun, sniper rifle, flamethrower, grenades, and then you just started off with your pistol, which was fine. I mean, I thought the guns were cool, but it wasn't just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Between them, it's just kind of what you would expect out of one of these games, kind of with it. As far as the customization of like the character and things like that, there was a little more to it than just your average third-person shooter back in that kind of time frame, and I think that's what kind of set this apart, is something special.
Yeah, I didn't, like I said, just having like the different, like the grenades, pistols, machine guns, everything, having the different options, having like just like the auto aim, it honestly didn't feel that bad to me, and being able to custom it. And then obviously you got your jetpacks eventually.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, and like the worlds were okay. It wasn't the best out of N64 graphics, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of somewhere between like maybe a little bit lower than Banjo-Kazooie, but
for sure lower than Banjo. Banjo looks great.
Yeah.
Even I mean, it was like one of the best looking games.
Yeah, I played that recently, or like in the last year, so I kind of have it fresh on the mind. But yeah, for sure. I mean, it was developed by Rare, so it was definitely, in that time frame, those games were usually pretty good, and they were all really high rated, as far as it goes. So I think just playing things like Metal Gear, that's another third person shooter type adventure game, it just didn't stack up for me,
Yeah, for sure. What made me?
Yeah.
Do you play like normal shooting games? Do you play regular with your aiming or inverted?
I play regular. This game started out as inverted, and that wigged me out a little bit first, but you could change that.
Wait, you did? I couldn't figure out how you could change it.
It was in like the main screen options.
Oh, okay. Because I went around playing inverted, and I never played shooters that way.
Oh,
so
really?
Okay. Yeah, it really wigged me out. So I got pretty, I was able to complete a bunch of the levels, but it was super difficult for my brain to just switch. And the controls were, I guess, because at this point there was the N64 controller, and they didn't have a right stick, so aiming with your left was also off-putting, just because nowadays that's not a thing. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's funny that you don't play inverted. I think like most of people that I know play inverted. So
really?
That's funny. You and me are like kind of the only ones I've known recently that don't play inverted.
Yeah, it's like, so I can, for instance, like inverted playing with like plane games, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever,
if
you've ever flown a plane before, like, or with a joystick, which I have, it's not. It makes sense when like using like because those controls are basically technically like inverted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with the shooter, it just doesn't make sense to me, like to my brain, because to me, I'm like, I'm using, when I'm doing the cursor, I have to think like I'm in a plane, which is so ridiculous.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a flight sim yoke. Well,
nice.
Just as like a side note, but it's pretty fun. I play X-Plane with it all the time. It's fun.
Ooh, nice. Does this have like the like, is the yoke? So it's the push pull and the side. So it's basically, so it would, if anyone doesn't know what a yoke is, because that no one normally does. A yoke is like if you're flying like a regular prop plane, they don't have like a joystick like a fighter pilot would.
Yeah, you would never see that.
Yeah. It looks like basically kind of like a racing steering wheel.
Yep.
And you turn your, like, you have left and right, just like a kind of like a car, but like down, if you push it in, it goes down, and you pull up. You're like, that's why they say like pull up. If you actually pull up on a yoke, that's what a commercial pilot would have.
Yeah. Or like
as a yoke.
Smaller, like you said, prop planes and things like that.
And like then, a linear, and then fighter pilots are the ones with joysticks.
Yeah, and then it has a few switches and the throttle on it. I don't have like the whole throttle setup or the whole instrument setup, but I just have that yoke. It's pretty cool. It's fun.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of just a side note. I play that a lot.
Anyway, but yeah, like, I mean, it's funny that you can, because same thing. Like when I play the props, I can it's inverted basically.
Yeah, but that like you're saying, that
shooter's
is
hard.
inverted. Even the yoke is inverted. It's like, you're not pushing to go up, you're pulling. So, but yeah,
Sure.
but like shooters and stuff. That's funny that I think a lot of my friends and stuff just growing up always played inverted, and they're like, oh, you want to switch? You want to pause Halo to switch? What are you doing? Like,
it's like, oh, you have inverted? Oh, you sucker.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, so back to the game itself. So Juno, Vela, and Lupus, each character had a special ability that allowed them to uncover areas which the others couldn't reach. Like Juno could walk through magma, Vela could swim underwater indefinitely without having to take a breath, and then Lupus could hover. So, which Lupus was their dog, which is an interesting name of choice of a name.
Maybe he just wanted to. Wait, lupus is an autoimmune disease, right? He was
a sick boy.
He was a sick boy, dude. We have a friend with lupus. It's no joke. That chunk's bad.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. But anyway, so between the different characters, I mean, it was cool. Like, whatever. It just didn't make too big of a difference to me what they were doing or how they were acting. Just as a side note, when you had the dog, you could do a like cooperative 2-player. I remember doing that growing up with my brother playing the story mode, but I never actually played the story mode until now. So
yeah,
by myself.
Man, you know what I really liked about this game was I thought the sound effects and the music were really good.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to talk about. Going down the list here, sound was great. Yeah, that was
sound. Like sound was so good.
Sound can make or break a game for you, and the sound definitely made the experience more enjoyable for me because it was. Yeah, I mean, it was intense at some points, and the music in areas were good, and like I said, it kind of gave me that Star Warsy feel, So
yes, very true.
Yeah, and that little even just the little teaser I dropped, which was basically just the opening to the game, it kind of has like the violins, and then it breaks out into the music when he's running, and stuff. So it just kind of gave that Star Warsy vibe, and it was really good. I need to see who composed it, but yeah, it was really good. So composer Robin Beanland. Interesting name. See what they've done.
Norgate and
okay.
Star Lindsay.
Yeah, so Robin Beanland has done a bunch of different games for N64, SNES. They did the music for Donkey Kong Country, which is another game we played on this podcast.
Oh, nice.
Banjo-Kazooie, shocker, and GoldenEye. Yep. So,
yeah.
Anyway, cool.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I thought the music was really, really good. I did not like certain parts of it. So basically, here's the deal. Like, I don't think this game was bad. Like, at all. Like the music was fantastic.
Yeah.
The graphics were pretty decent. The controls were like, if I could remap the controls somehow.
Yeah.
Especially like because N64 controls there was only one joystick.
Yeah.
If I could remap them on using the ROM somehow where I could aim with the right stick.
Mm-hmm.
This game was not bad. It just to me like. I think number one is we've moved past like the N64 controller was kind of balls.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
So or it was just weird, like especially if you're now controllers are very, very similar from any console. They're different, but they're you kind of know what to expect and how to use it. Whereas this one was completely different. So if I could remap the controls and the camera meant so much, but like if the camera was good and I could remap the controls, I think this would have been a 9 out of 10 game for me.
Yeah. I think another big part of this is the story wasn't as engaging. Like once you got into it, the cutscenes and things like that were cool, but the story itself wasn't engaging to me,
Yeah, so very true. I was about to say is even like the lead up, like what's happening, backstory, or just getting into it. Like, hey, we're gonna go kill these guys because they attacked my ship and they are trying to beat down. I can't remember what the good guys like you're trying to save are. Because you have to collect in the worlds. What is that?
Yeah, no, there's kind of a bunch of different ones, but the ones
the first ones,
they
look like
they were like
hedgehogs.
They're either like Wookiees or like gremlins.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, they're like hedgehog looking Wookiee things. But either way, like you're saving these different races. Like it definitely it didn't have depth to it. For as epic as music it was, you were like, oh man, what's gonna happen next? And it's like this story kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was just like you walk up to the guy and it's like a bunch of text that's really like kind of tiny, and like you're like, what's going on? And you're kind of trying to read it without skipping too fast through it, and to get the picture of the game. But yeah, I think like that's something that Banjo-Kazooie did really well. Like,
Oh, so
it's kind of
true.
in the same vein. Like, there wasn't too much, but there wasn't a whole. You weren't barren with it. You weren't like, oh, what am I doing? You knew exactly what was going on, like every zone or like part of the game or whatnot. This
Right.
game wasn't as clear for me.
Well, I mean, think about a lot of the stories of some of these games, like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a bad crocodile. You want your bananas back, and you
Yep.
got to defeat him because he's
Yep.
trying to like hurt your family. It's a super simple story, kind of at its core, but
Yeah.
you got the sense of what, like, the personality of the characters of each
Yeah.
character, and like it was slightly comedic, even
Yeah.
though there was no voice at it. It did its thing correctly, and even this, like, it was trying to give you some story, but it was still pretty shallow.
Yeah. I kind of there was a lot
I think-
to this game, but like there should have been more story as far as to lead the game a little better with being it was pretty complex, for that era. And
True.
I go back to like kind of this is not reminding me totally of Metal Gear because it's more about tactical and things like that, but it was a third person type shooter, Metal Gear.
Right.
And Metal Gear was so far beyond its day with the story. It had voice acting. That was just, I mean, it's one of the best games I've ever played,
I mean,
kinda
just
thing.
remember, it's going from a disc to a cartridge. Like, there's a lot
Yeah,
more.
it's true. You can
There's
store a lot more.
Yeah, you could store a lot more. I
And-
think that was the problem with N64, is there just wasn't enough storage.
Yeah, and I think these games came out relatively close to each other, which is funny.
Really?
Yeah, like Metal Gear was 98 or 99. It might even be
No
earlier
way.
than that. Yep.
What year was Metal Gear Solid 2? Because that was like
That was
10 out of
after
10.
PlayStation 2 came out, and I think it was like 2004-ish.
Yeah, but still, man, like the jump of like Metal Gear Solid 2 versus like some of these games that we've been doing, even though. I guess
Oh,
it's
get
5
this.
years apart.
September 3rd, 98 is when Metal Gear came out. This was October 11th, 99.
Wow. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think, but that's the thing with Sony and just
Yeah.
in general is storytelling, because Nintendo's always done that. Like, they don't need to
Mhm.
tell stories; they need to make like the adventures and like the
Yeah.
accessibility fun and like the art style. Whereas like Sony has always been so developed in like deep,
Yeah.
overarching storylines.
I
and,
agree
like,
with that,
mystery
yeah.
and stuff. Like, I mean, think of like Ico.
Mhm.
Like, games like that, like, are so ridiculously sought after still, and you know what I'm saying? Like, but Nintendo doesn't really care about that. Like, Mario has realistically no story.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's a guy, here's a bad guy, and here's his the princess.
Yeah.
The
For sure.
bad guy took your princess, and you want it back, and you like stars. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and
the
even
story.
even Zelda. I mean, that's it. Like
Oh,
kind of
don't
the
you-
older Zeldas. I'm not crapping on Zelda at all. Like,
don't you dare talk about Zelda.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of or I'm not. It's just never been like a game I
Wait,
always play. But I
Well-
respect what it is. I respect the property.
Hey, am
Love
I
the
gonna have to come
characters.
slap you? Am I gonna have to give you a big old slap while we're there?
Yeah,
Don't you dare.
But there was no like like in some of the older ones, there was no like kind of like like a Final Fantasy type thing where I guess I've just been playing so much Final Fantasy VIII this week, and it's so story driven. So anyway,
Yeah, but think about this. Like, the Zelda's always gameplay driven, and
Yeah.
it is a better, like, realistically. And I'm not. Here's like the other camp is. Zelda is by far a better gameplay experience than any Final Fantasy that I've ever played.
oh yeah,
Boom.
Okay, all right. Well, we can agree to disagree, I guess.
And I like the Final Fantasies, but realistically, gameplay wise,
Yeah,
I mean, they're obviously two completely different games too,
Yeah.
because like it's an adventure game versus
it's hard to put them up
an
against each other.
RPG.
Yeah,
Because and that's the thing is, like, Zelda's not an RPG. It's straight up like it's an adventure. Like,
Yeah.
even the new one when it's open world and they're trying to be more RPG-ish, I guess. It's
Yeah.
still it's still an adventure game.
yeah.
You know.
No, and like I said, it's clearly one of the best game, probably the best game ever for a reason. The highest selling property, with Nintendo, definitely. and all that. But so I have a whole lot of respect for it, and I think it's a great game. But anyway, I don't know where we got off on this tangent, but
You're insulting Zelda.
Story driven as far as
good.
this, bringing it back around. This game just needed more story for me or clear story, like be more driven in that way for me to really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It needed more, but like the only reason I brought that up is because if you think about its competitors and games that I know that you like and I like both, like Donkey Kong, it doesn't. Nintendo just has never, at least especially in this era, and I could be wrong. I'm sure there's some outliers that really did have great stories, but in general, that wasn't their MO. They're trying to make really fun gameplay experiences, and story was always kind of came second. So, but I mean, me and you, I know how you like games and what you like to RPG wise, and I'm really, especially nowadays, I want a better story than I do gameplay wise. I want like my games to be half a movie these days.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So, okay, cool. Yeah, well, just kind of going down the list, as far as graphics, we talked about that a little bit. It wasn't the best, but wasn't horrible. Sound, I think that was pretty much our standout from the entire game. Gameplay, presentation. How do you feel about the presentation of this game?
I honestly didn't think it was very lackluster. The UI was pretty clean.
Yeah.
There was options.
A lot of options. I mean, especially in that first screen, like you check the options, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff to choose from. So
yeah, I definitely don't think it was underdone. I thought the interface as a whole, besides me not figuring out how to do my gun regular, but that was just my bad apparently.
Yeah.
I think it was more than good compared to other games that we've played in the genre or in the time frame.
For sure. And then Lasting Appeal finished, and finally I probably won't go back to this game, so it wasn't very high for me.
So, like I said before, if I could reroute the controls to something more updated, I would play this game. I would actually I think I could play it and finish it in like a day or whatever.
Okay. I would like to battle each other on this game, I think.
For sure.
Mode? I think that'd be fun.
And without a doubt. And
like I said, that's kind of the vein I remember this game is, because that's what we did with our friends so much. We just got together. It was kind of like another GoldenEye type thing. It was like, we don't want to play GoldenEye today, we'll play this, like age.
I completely agree.
At that age, the moms liked this better than they did GoldenEye, so whenever they leave, we play GoldenEye.
True.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I like if we were together in the same room or whatever and we could play this, I would play this again.
Yeah.
It just needed to like clean up the camera and the controls be a little bit more modern, and I would have given this a really high score, but I don't think I'm going to go back to it just because it was frustrating me enough to just not care.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another question. Would you like to see any of these characters, Juno, Vila, or Lupus, in a Super Smash Brothers game? Because they have not appeared.
No.
Really? I think I'd like Juno and the dog. I think that'd be a cool duo.
Yeah, maybe.
It could be like a deep cut, like they do, because kind of like Rare and Nintendo have kind of like kissed and made up for Banjo. And I haven't read on the internet if people I'm sure there's people out there like, oh, I want these characters in Super Smash, but I think they could do something unique, but kind of along the same vein as what's going on with Super Smash Brothers there. So
yeah, maybe. I don't really want to see them just because I don't care enough and
don't have a connection to them. Yeah,
not really. But if they're gonna put something, I mean, they did put in the Piranha Plant from Mario, so at this point, anything's possible.
Anything can go. But I think breaking that wall with Rare to have Banjo-Kazooie back might open the door to something like this in the future, if that's what Nintendo is going to continue to do, which they've said last week, that's what they're going to continue to do to make characters for this game. So I could see it working its way in there eventually.
I wouldn't hate it. I definitely wouldn't hate it, especially like to see these characters like with updated models and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be one of those things like some of these characters that came in like for diehards, like some of these characters that have come in over the years. It's like, oh, I don't even know anything about that character, but I'm cool with it. That were like deep cut from NES games, that they've revamped.
I mean, they put. Here's the deal: is at this point, they have Cloud in the game, so they just need Sephiroth before anything else. I'm never gonna say that this should go in here before Sephiroth or in Smash
or Sora.
So yeah, see,
Kingdom
that's
Hearts
another
1
like,
Sora.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah,
we'll see. I think it'll be okay, but
yeah,
some people hate it, some people love it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that was just one other question I had about the game. So I put it in my little rating system here, and what are we gonna rate? I'm ready to rate this game. Are you?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm thinking gems, Gemini,
yeah, dude.
Jet or Jets. One.
It's definitely gems because
right.
that's what you got for health.
All right, cool. So gems, I'm doing a 5.2 out of 10 is when my little rating came up. So
5.2 out of 10. Okay, I'm actually gonna do a 6.5 out of 10.
All right, right on.
I think it was a little bit better. Man, like I told you, if we could just been done just a tiny bit different, I think this sort of game would have been really a lot higher for me.
Yeah, I mean, I gave the graphics
controls
a 6.
Were hard.
Yeah, I gave the graphics a 6, sound a 10, gameplay a 4, presentation a 3. Or I guess I could have done better on the presentation, but
I don't think the presentation was a 3. I think the presentation was like
I think
like
maybe,
a 6.
let me change that. I'm going to change it to an 8 just because it was pretty clean. Okay, that brings me to 6.2. So there we go.
Yeah, there we go. I think we're
all right. Cool, above average. Yeah. Good. And then
I think it was
appeal,
it was definitely
3.
above average, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So anyway, good for its time.
Awesome.
And I mean, this game cleaned up in the game ratings too. I mean, all game 4 out of 5 stars, Edge 9 out of 10, Game Informer 7.75 out of 10, IGN 8.1 out of 10. So like this was a pretty powerful game back in the day. For when it was, I guess it just, we both as kids, I didn't overlook it. I just never played the story mode part of it. So.
Yeah, I didn't either. I definitely played the multiplayer, but I didn't have lasting appeal. Like I said, really, for me, I don't have any affinity for it, but
yeah.
I don't know. It was good. I definitely didn't like, oh my God, this is so hard to get through for me. I didn't have that. It just needed a little more. I think for me, if like I said, a little cleaning up, and I'd been at 8 out of 10 easy.
Yeah. I mean, when I said I wanted to play an N64 game last year, I didn't. It hit me the next day. I was like, oh, Jet Force Gemini, that'd be cool. And it didn't disappoint me. It just it was just like, all right, cool. I'm moving on.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep. Okay, cool. So we'll just close the book on that one and move on to the next game, which I've kind of already got picked out. So I guess we can just talk about it here. And now, if you're down with it, I think we should take it back to the SNES days and play Marvel Superheroes in War of the Gems. We haven't done a side scroller 2D platform in a while. So yeah, I think that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Yep, looking forward to that one. It'll be fun. So, a little bit of a much shorter game on this one too. So you can there's a few cool characters to choose from in this one. So it's a 1-player game as well. So anyway,
cool.
Alrighty. Awesome. So that's next week. And moving on, speaking of Final Fantasies, there's a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake that dropped, I think, this morning. So looks pretty sweet. Pretty stoked.
Yeah, I watched it right before the show, and because you told me about it, thankfully.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible. I mean, just it's if you've ever seen Advent Children or anything like of the new movies, graphically it's about the same.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic, and honestly, it shows a little bit of the gameplay again.
Yeah.
And the gameplay looks freaking nice.
It looks so cool, and just
it looks so good.
Like, do you know the full story and like what happens to the characters in Final Fantasy VII?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, you know, like the whole Aerith thing.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So like she dies and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, I just don't want to ruin it for you if you don't know. So
I've only seen like her in Cloud's arms in the water.
That's
like
true.
50
That is an
times.
iconic scene of just like ball pixel people walking around, dead people. Yeah, but anyway, like that scene, I just can't wait for that, especially in this game because I feel like I'm gonna cry when it happens because it's so real looking and Aerith looks great, Cloud looks freaking awesome, and it's cool to see these characters, like some of these yet that they haven't shown that weren't in Advent Children that I've only seen in the original Final Fantasy game. So and see the
Right.
evolution of where they were, even though like a couple of them were in that game Crisis Core that was like that first person shooter Vincent game. But yeah, just kind of seeing like these characters be brought to real life in such a magnificent way. It wasn't like a jump from, like PlayStation to PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 4. It was like, this is like, oh my gosh, this is like a whole, I mean, these people look real, So,
Yeah, I mean, we're deep into the PlayStation 4
Yeah.
cycle, which, we just looked up like, okay, so I think end of 2020 is they may be switching to like PS5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're deep into graphical wonderland, and it's only going to get better, but still, like, it looks, I don't know how much it can get better. I'm sure it can, but
Yeah.
it's a beautiful looking game. And
Oh,
because
yeah.
it showed real gameplay too, not just cutscenes. And the gameplay, like, there was a shot of Barrick, the
Yeah.
gun guy, and he was in like a corridor shooting.
Yeah.
And dude, there was sparks flying.
Oh man. Yeah, that's so awesome.
The
And
shadows look so good.
the voices in the game are, just from a little what we've heard, fit perfectly. I mean, Barrett's voice is exactly what I heard in my head when I played this in in 97 when it came out. Like that's
Mhm.
exactly what I've heard, in my head. So I'm just so stoked to get into it, and the character voices sound really good. They've changed Aerith voice from the Kingdom Hearts voice actor that did it, and I think they're like, from what I've heard, they changed it in a good way. So I didn't like her voice in the last two Kingdom Hearts 2.
Cool. Good to
Yeah,
know.
but anyway, definitely stoked for all of it. It just built the excitement. I think it's like it feels so far away right now, so it's kind of like a bummer almost. It's like,
I know.
here we go. Got to wait 6 more months for this.
Yeah, but 6 months, dude, when you're old men like us, like 6 months just flies
know.
by. When you have a family, you're like, oh, it's time,
I gotta
It's
go
time
get
to-
that. Gotta pick that up today.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait. I think it's on. I don't really get insanely excited about games like when they're gonna release these days, just because I kind of just try to like forget about it.
Yeah,
This one I'm excited for. This is up there.
yeah, for sure. It's gonna be a goodie for sure. So anyway, just a little bit of teaser on that. Another quick thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't put in the notes is Apple had a big event yesterday where it showed off some more of their arcade.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks pretty cool. And they're only charging $5 a month to play all these games. So
How big is the library? What do they say?
I was gonna look, but they have a lot of original games and just a lot of games that they've had that they're taking the ads off basically and taking the internet play off of them and all that, and just kind of make them where it's like you can play it. So there's a library already in place, and they're developing a bunch of new games as well. So
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I
coming.
I did
next
see that kind of
week.
dropped, but I didn't see it, like what the library is.
Unlimited access to 100+ new games rolling out this fall.
Wow.
Yeah. For $5 a month. That was the biggest thing yesterday is like, guess what, guys? You thought it was going to be $20 a month. It's $5 a month, So
I mean, $5 a
across
month
devices
is-
too. So you can play it on all your devices, not just like $5 for this iPhone, $5 for that iPad. It's everywhere. So I'm sure they'll bring it to Apple TV as well. There's a couple cool adventure games, like one called Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm. It's like it kind of it looks like Tales of Symphonia kind of thing, or one of those. But there's definitely, and they showed off a new game that's coming that looks really sweet. It's like a fantasy type game. So
Cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely stoked to like it. They're giving a month free too, subscription, so I'll definitely check that out and we can kind of review it from there. But yeah, that was
absolutely.
kind of a big announcement from them yesterday. Apple's trying to get into like the mobile gaming scene, which I'm not mad about. It seems like they're doing pretty well with everything else. So.
Nice.
They showed off their new iPhones and their TV service too, or their like their own streaming service. cool stuff.
Yeah, I think the streaming service is supposed to be pretty. Like, I think it's like $5 a month as well.
Yeah, they announced that.
So
too. For like
which is
the entire family is what they said. You can share it with all your friends and family. Yeah, they're not doing this subscription location based thing like a lot of them are doing now.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice because for like another $15, it's like, is it worth it? But for $5,
yeah,
heck yes,
yeah.
man. If it's
Yeah,
got a bunch of new shows, like,
yeah,
I'm all about that.
It's cool they're all competing. Like Netflix better watch out because they keep going up in price. And Disney's like only $7 a month. This is only $5 a month, you know. So it's
but you have to think about how much content Netflix has and is like pulling out every month.
Yeah.
Like the amount of original shows, good original shows and good movies, like full length movies with big actors. Netflix is like drowning in money right now, but they're also pushing out content, so it's worth it. Like whereas like Apple and Disney right now are inexpensive because their library is not that big. But if they do well and then they start competing, number one is competition breeds good things. It always helps. You know, it brings like innovation and prices and just other. Apple or Disney is offering these movies and even more, and then it drives the price down and it drives content up just for competition. So it's good that they're doing that, so Netflix can, hopefully even be better, or they can be better and they can compete. So
yeah,
I mean, $5, $7, I'm probably gonna buy all these. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, Apple, if you upgrade your iPhone, you get it for a year, their service. So
right. And,
I get a new iPhone every year, so they give it out each time you buy an Apple device. You get a year. So it's just, you could probably just compound, if you're an Apple user, just compound your devices you get every few years. And
believe me.
Yeah.
Just
have it.
Too many in our house, and I'm pre-ordering mine Friday morning. So.
Yeah, I've already got mine set up. The all that. All I have to do is wake up and press a button.
Yep.
Pretty stupid.
There goes $1,000.
Yeah, whatever. I have a payment on it, so just loop it into the next one. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyhow, but yeah, so I just wanted that was kind of a side note that Apple Arcade was kind of obviously in the gaming realm. They're entering it with a lot of working with a lot of developers to develop a lot of original content that I'm interested to see how it develops in these stories as well too. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
So anything else you've been playing / reading / seeing in the movie theaters?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably the only thing I really want to talk about is WoW Classic. Yeah. It dropped since we last talked.
I really want to play it. Yeah.
If a couple things that I learned is, so me and my brother have been playing that together for over a week now.
Cool.
Is the one thing that number one is like they brought it back. So what WoW Classic is World of Warcraft from the beginning, completely original from from patch 0.1. It is from the beginning, patches, leveling system, grindiness, all of it's exactly the same. There's things about it that quality of life have gotten better, in the 15 years, but also bringing it back to the original experience is really, really rewarding. And the one thing that it makes you feel is incremental rewards are good for games. Like grindiness is actually a good thing.
Okay.
If you feeling like that you did something little by little to be able to go to the to level up or to do the quests. There's some things that are not good about it. Like you have to read quests now, which is kind of good actually, but it's just, you can't just run to a place on your map and
I think you might feel more of these stories, of what's going on with these.
No, you do. That's what I'm saying is like it's kind of bad for leveling because it makes it even more grindy because you don't know where you're going. You actually have to read and figure out like, oh, here's the guy, whatever. That is kind of good to be honest with you because it makes you because before I wouldn't read any quest text and I would just go from, oh, okay, where do I need to get these items or where do I need to go to? And I just look for question marks on the map, which is like the new, WoW. But
WoW Classic takes that away, don't they?
Yeah, there's none of that. Like
it's gonna
they don't have.
It's interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah, a good thing about like new WoW, or it can be good, is they had like looking for group, meaning like you could just queue up and they'd find a group for you.
Now you have
They
to
don't have
find
that
it.
now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I mean literally it is original since like we played 15
Yeah.
years ago
Yeah,
at the chicken house.
yeah, that's sweet,
But-
dude. That's sweet.
Yeah,
Slash a
it's
little bit like, oh my god, here we go.
No. It's I so for instance, they don't have looking for groups, which is like seems like a hassle.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you kind of have to figure out like, just like in chat, find a group together, and then you have to kind of band together. There's definitely a sense of community and like togetherness that it has not been in the new WoW. Like people are super nice. Yeah, no, people like the community has been super nice. You'll just like run around Ironforge, wherever and people give you random buffs now because buff, stats are like, they mean like a ton, especially because nothing really has stats on it in the beginning. So you're like, oh, thank you so much. And, you'll be dying out in the wilderness, and some people like they'll just come up and help you. It just
gotcha.
It's really weird how they like have taken things out or put it back in or made reverted it, and people start acting differently as well, which is awesome.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I like that. I like that I remember playing me and you, and then like we had some other people like guild wise that we would play with and things like that, and it gave you that, like you said, that sense of community, like guild meetings and things like that just doesn't really seem like it's there anymore,
Yeah, for sure. I've been enjoying it. I'm probably gonna level all the way just because.
Yeah, so
I think I have, but
yeah. So on rollout, they're just doing to 60 or 50. Is it 60 or 50?
No, it's 60. Yeah.
Okay, so 60, and then did you say they're going to kind of release the patches as you go and just keep it vanilla, or are they gonna add all the stuff and make it what it is now eventually?
Well, just remember what it is now took 15 years.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I do think they're gonna like roll out patches, but I don't know at what rate they're going to.
Yeah.
But as far as I know right now, I don't think any expansions are in order as of just right now. Like they're literally just trying to. I mean, because remember, like the first couple of years, I think it's the first 2 years, like they basically everyone, people were trying to get to 60, and then they did, and then they had like the gates of Ajahn Kui, and per server you had to unlock that, and then the gates got unlocked and that's a server thing where people had to donate. Remember, like resources.
That's right. Yeah.
Like all of that is basically
back.
Like even like like that's original. So
that's cool.
As far as I know now, I don't know everything about it, but they are starting from the beginning. It's going to be the same, like the patches and stuff like that are going to be the same. I mean, it's going to be the original experience completely. And I don't know if they're trying to do it like the next, I think they're probably trying to see how well vanilla does, and then if they're going to do Burning Crusade or Lich King or anything else like that. But just remember, because it's not going to take 15 years to do what they've done, now. So I'm guessing that they're just going to roll it out at a little bit of a quicker rate, depending on the community. Like if the community, millions of people are playing this and loving it, then they're probably going to like, all right, let's roll out the patch or whatever, or do the expansion. But if it just depends on, I think what people want.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool if they rolled it out, but they didn't nerf what's before it. Like kind of like what they've done now. They'll make everything really easy just so you can get to that point, or auto level you to that when the new expansion comes out. I think that if they kept it hard all the way, it would be a new experience to the game, and make it kind of like really fun. So.
Yeah, but think about that. I don't think they started nerfing things until Lich King. Like through Burning Crusade, they didn't nerf any of that. Like the leveling experience, like you had to straight up grind that crap out.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm saying just go all the way. Like don't add the question marks to the maps, things like that. Make you figure it out from start to finish.
Yeah, but I think that would actually be impossible because not impossible, but I think that'd be pretty hard because. There's a reason why they added, like, just systematically, like, just system-wise, there'd be things that would break the game.
Yeah, I just don't, like, to that degree, I just don't really see the point of doing this, unless you're just going to keep it to 60 and keep this as it is and not add anymore, because it's like, they're just rebuilding their own game to get to where you are. So.
Yeah, but think about like because especially Cataclysm, it changed it so much. It changed the original game even. Yeah. And like so even up until that point, like they could literally do Burning Crusade and Lich King, and it pretty much would be
stay the same. Yeah.
Not stay the same, and there is good improvements to it, but it would be the experience all over again. Like things didn't really get, at least what I can remember, because it's been 15 years and I've played that game for 15 years. Things didn't get weird until Cataclysm. Like massively different.
I definitely loved exploring Northrend and the Lich King raid and all that kind of stuff.
That chunk was hard. Like that was so hard when it first came out.
Dude, Illidan, it was Burning Crusade. Like
people like wiping like 100 and 200 times for raids. Like it was but the craziest thing now is 60. They were saying, oh yeah, people to 60 are gonna take 3 months or whatever. And streamers were, there's so many people that are already 60 because
they just play
time wise, but not even that. Just because they, you've played it 15 years ago, and you just know it a little better, and you can kind of, I don't know. It's still been really enjoyable. It's also very hard. Like,
so where are you?
Legit harder.
Wise.
I'm in Marsh, Dust Mallow Marsh.
What level are you?
15.
15. Okay. Yeah. Lockmodin and all that.
Lockmodin. That's it. Sorry.
Yep.
So,
dude, Stranglehorn Vale, bro.
Yeah, that's another one.
It's gonna
take me a long time, but
I just remember questing Stranglehorn like all the time, and the
getting ganked by everyone.
Yep, getting ganked by tigers or bears.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Or like PvP, because we were on a PvP server for so long. But this time I did PvE because there's no way that I'm just gonna sit and be ganked over and over again like people used to do in the original game.
Yeah, it's cool. I wish I didn't. I wish I had the time to actually jump in, but I can't. I just don't have the time right now to play at night and things like that. So.
I haven't been playing that much. I mean, realistically, if you had like a night a week to play together, we could do it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll think about it. I'll think about what's going on, but yeah, I was definitely excited. Like the thought of that, I think it was everybody's. Most people were like, "Oh, that's awesome," and that kind of. That'll bring me back to 2005 or whatever it was when we first started.
Yeah.
What are you? What did you start as?
Dwarf Hunter. Like the
really?
Man.
Oh, man. Okay, you didn't go a different direction. I probably do a warrior too, though.
Yeah.
But I still play that warrior to this day if I get on. Like, I still have Cecile, same character, always had,
Yeah. I mean, I've played like almost all the classes to max level on different accounts, but I mean, Dwarf Hunter was just the OG, so I had to bring him back.
Yeah, I kind of want to start as like a mage or something, like just like get the I've never really been those classes as from the beginning, kind of thing. So anyway,
yeah, I mean, especially since the last like 3 or 4 expansions, you got to get you got some boosts. So I've pretty much rolled a different class the last like 4 times. So I haven't done everything, but I've done a lot of them. So I just went back to, and I hadn't played Hunter in like literally like joke 10 years.
What's your name?
Street Fox.
Oh, okay. You're not Galbatorix. Cecile and Galbatorix in the street.
Nah. I was thinking about going, Galbatorix, but
Old school.
It's just people just can't like pronounce it, and it's just Street Fox is just my gamer tag name now. So
all right, cool. Yep. Cool. Well, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad we got to talk about that a little bit. That's been something that I've been wanting to talk to you about, but I haven't. Didn't remember last week. So
yeah, if anyone listening wants to play, I'm Street Fox, and I am on server with an M. I will hit it later.
Cool.
Mirdas?
Hit it. Do it.
Whisper.
Whisper sweetly into my ear.
Well, not creepily. Just give me an invite. Like, hey, man, you want to do some quests? Like, all right,
sure. Yeah. So anyway, I've been playing Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Beautiful game. Love it. Just getting through it. It's really fun to play, especially like now that you can speed it up and through battles and things like that, you can really play it a lot quicker, and it's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Cool.
So, doing that, and I got a graphic novel it was a short 12-issue run of this Spider-Man comic called Spidey, and it's I got the graphic novel. It's the freshman year, and it's really cool because it's Peter Parker in high school, but there's like a ton of team ups through the issues, like Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, all those kind of stuff. So I had started collecting these the comics as they were coming out, but then I moved and lost my pool box and all that kind of stuff. Didn't have a comic book shop near me to keep it going. So anyway, I got that graphic novel. Been reading that. That's pretty cool. It just came out recently. So
Nice.
Yep. Haven't really seen any movies recently. Too much to talk about, but yeah. Just so that's about it. I got a PlayStation wheel on clearance the other day, like the steering wheel. So I was playing Gran Turismo with my kiddo, doing that the other day. So,
Nice.
fun times. So.
Cool.
Alrighty. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I think we pretty much
I don't
covered
think
it.
so, man.
There hasn't been too much news this week. I mean, Nintendo thing dropped, and we had a lot to talk about last week. So I think it's time for a little game show.
Oh,
Just when you thought we were going away, we're here to stay. All right. Enough rhyming. All right. So
calm down, Willy Wonka.
I did 10 questions last week and got 4 out of 10 correct. And
Yes.
so you're going to do the 10 questions this week and see what you get.
All right, let's do it.
All right, right on. Oh, man. Let's see. Stopwatch. I'll do that. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, here we go. You have 2 minutes to answer all of these because of this website, but it's got 10 plugged in here. So here we go. Ready? In what game series would you attempt a Nuzlocke challenge? The Sims, Pokemon, Legend of Zelda, Call of Duty.
Legend of Zelda.
Pokemon.
Damn it.
Where is Watch Dogs 2 set? I feel like this is the same.
Wait, this is the same
quiz we did last week.
All right.
Dang,
website.
Let me find something else. Okay.
I love how we actually had already
about
done it, and I still lost. Like I still was just like Legend of Zelda.
For sure. Okay, let's do this one. This one has 9 questions, so I'll make up a bonus one if I. All right, here we go. Let's try this. All right,
Okay.
in what video game? Oh no, this is not good. This is not hard enough. All right, here we go. Let's try this one. In what game did the character Mario appear first? That was the first question. Oh man, no, that's not good. Let's see, you used that same site. I wonder if they have different quiz. We didn't come prepared for this. I'll cut this part out. Oh man, let's see.
Just do game trivia quiz.
Multiple choice video game quiz. That's what I did. Hardest quiz only a master gamer can pass. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about.
All right, yeah.
All right, question 1. What video game franchise features this tunic-clad hero? This is stupid. What are you talking about? Zelda. No. Yeah, this is too easy. Sorry. All right, let me keep looking here.
Okay.
All right, good. What was Mario's name in Donkey Kong? Jumpman, Mr. Plumber, Antonio, Junpei.
Jumpman.
That's right. What? Yeah. Question 1. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. What time traveling device appears in Assassin's Creed? Time Sphere, Cosmic Treadmill, Animus, Epic.
It's either Animus or Epic. I'm gonna go Animus.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Which of these characters never speaks? Nathan Drake, Mario, Link, Master Chief.
Link.
Yeah, that's correct. I feel like this is easier than my quiz. Okay. All right, here we go.
Man.
What is the best-selling video game console of all time? Nintendo, Xbox 360, NES, sorry. Xbox 360, Nintendo DS, or PlayStation 2?
Nintendo DS.
No, PlayStation 2.
Oh, that was my second answer. Dang. Okay.
All right. So let me see. Let me just do this. Do you ever see Gordon Freeman's face in the Half-Life series? Yes or no? 50-50.
No.
That is correct. All right, 4 out of.
Nice.
All right, let's see. This would be question 6. Okay, so which 2 characters have been Nathan Drake's love interest? You answered 2 out of 4. Colleen Simpson, Elena Fisher, Chloe Fraser, Emma Fitzgerald.
So I think it's Elena Fisher and Chloe Fraser.
That is correct. You were killing it.
By the way, I played one of those.
Yeah.
I played Drake 4. So, and I almost beat that game. I went really deep into it. So.
Very nice. Okay,
Cool.
So question 7. What was the first video game console? Magnavox Odyssey, Atari 2600, Intellivision, Sega SG-100.
Okay, say that one more time.
What was the first video game console? Magnavox Odyssey, Atari 2600, Intellivision, Sega SG-100.
Atari 2600.
False. Magnavox Odyssey.
Freaking A. I knew. I was like, man, I know maybe Atari's second. Freaking A. Okay.
All right. So which of these is not a Castlevania protagonist? Simon Belmont, Richter Belmont, Trevor Belmont, or Thomas Belmont?
Thomas Belmont.
That is correct. Damn.
You know how I know that?
How?
Because Simon and Richter Belmont are in Smash.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
that's for
and
sure.
then I was like, it either has to be Trevor or Thomas, and I'm like, Trevor. I think he's in Smash 2 actually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There you go.
So that's the only reason. I literally don't know nothing about those characters, but I know they're in Smash, so that's all that matters.
All right. So question 8. 2 left here, and that's all I got left anyway. So which of these ships played a key role in Mass Effect 2? Hyperion, Valkyrie, Lewis and Clark, SSV Normandy.
Okay, dang. It's either the Hyperion or the SSV Normandy. Or is it Valkyrie? SSV Normandy.
That is correct.
What?
Yeah.
Yes!
Dude. All right. You have only missed 1 so far, by the way. Just to
Dude.
okay. So last question here, number 10. Which Grand Theft Auto game was the first to offer playable female characters? Grand Theft Auto Online, Grand Theft Auto 4, The Ballad of Gay Tony. Grand Theft Auto, none of the above. The first to offer playable female characters.
None of the above.
False. Grand Theft Auto. So you got 8 out of 10, my friend.
Dang.
That's good, though. Yeah.
8 out of 10, dude. All right.
That's better than I did.
Yeah, I was going to say next week. So we're 8 out of 10, 4 out of 10. And the baton gets passed back to you next week. So
that's right. You need to do a little more research on how to find some better questions.
Yeah, I have
one of these questions in here I skipped over was, what does Pokemon stand for? No.
It's like Pocket Monsters, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. Well, that I think that is a wrap for this episode.
Good times, man.
Yeah, about an hour this time, so enjoy. And next week, Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems. This will be a little easier on us as far as playing because it's a little shorter of a game, and it's fun. So cool.
Excellent. Well, I think that will do us, man. An hour. Wow. Well, it went by fast.
Yeah, good times. Maybe we'll have more to talk about next week. Maybe we won't. All right.
Sounds good, sir.
Until next time. See you later.
Bye.
If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.